The Columbus Blue Jackets, a team that has struggled since its first season back in the year 2000. After 20 years, the Blue Jackets have 8 winning seasons, 6 playoff appearances, 5 first-round exits, and just 1 trip to the conference semifinals to show for a once promising lineup that boasted Rick Nash, Nikolai Zherdev, Jakub Voracek, and even RJ Umberger, just to name a few. In recent years, management has gone all in on the likes of Artemi Panarin, Sergei Bobrovsky, and now Patrick Laine. But with little success that has now been coupled with the threat of losing another major piece, ownership has begun looking beyond Jarmo Kekäläinen to get the job done with this group. With GM data and his team of assistant GMs recently hitting the market, it may just be a match made in heaven. How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome to episode 1 of our brand new NHL 21 franchise mode series here with the Columbus Blue Jackets. This series has been a long time coming, about 10 hours of roster editing if you're following over on Twitch, some created players, a couple of polls to vote on which team we would be doing, and in the end, I thought it was going to come down to the Rangers, Islanders, and Penguins in the first poll, but because of so many people, over a fifth of votes, voting for other franchises and leaving over 50 comments, I decided to make a secondary poll which listed all of the possible franchises that we could roll with. We said we love democracy and went by majority rules, and that ended up being the Columbus Blue Jackets. So many other great options that we will get to. Don't worry if your team wasn't chosen. For example, you can see that the vote on my screen was for the Pittsburgh Penguins. That was due to my brother voting for them, being a Penguins fan. So I know that there was a lot of people that wanted to see a lot of different teams, including a lot of support for an expansion franchise, which will be coming in NHL 22. But for right now, we're going to be rolling with the Columbus Blue Jackets, a team that desperately needs our help. It's a bit odd because we're in July of 2021. We're rolling with rosters from May 2021, but we're starting in the September 2020 calendar right here. With the Columbus Blue Jackets, we are an 87 overall team. We'll get into the franchise itself in a few minutes. For that, we'll take care of all the housekeeping we need to get through. If you wanted to see the Islanders, the Rangers, the Flyers, the Penguins, those had a lot of votes as well. All Metropolitan Division teams, so you'll get to see a lot of them here as we're playing in a very tough division, and this is a team that needs our help. Owner mode off. I don't need to be badgered about the bathroom levels. Salary cap is on. I had to adjust some teams, as I will show you in just a few minutes. CPU trades are on. Morale is off because I don't need someone losing 10 overalls due to a playable injury and they're staying out of the lineup. Fog of War, going to turn that off. I don't think it helps too much either. Head coach edits lines off, and everything else off as well. Let's quickly get into the rules and settings and sink our teeth into this new franchise mode. Injury occurrence, I like keeping the slider at 15 on 100. Might put it up, might put it down, depending on how things are going throughout the franchise. Sometimes there's not enough injuries to make it realistic. Sometimes there's way too many, so you can play with that a little bit. No editing lines for the coach. We're going fully healed. Only tell me when they're fully healed. Don't need playable injuries. Sim engine scoring on medium, and the sim engine shot frequency will be on low, as we do have some created players here in this franchise mode. I don't want them taking 400 shots, so that will kind of hopefully limit that a little bit, because we know that there's always that invisible slider for created players. That makes them take like 200 shots more than anybody else. Don't know why. But what I do want to talk a little bit about here is draft class quality and generated prospect quality. For the first time ever, I'd like to play with these a little bit. I received a fantastic suggestion from Juicy, one of our oldest assistant GMs here on the channel, back on New Year's Eve of 2020. He said, new idea for future franchise modes, play with the draft classes. What he and his brother like to do is, before a new season kicks in, go to a random number generator and get a number out of 100. If the number is between 1 and 20, we set the draft class quality and the prospect quality to low. If the number is between 21 and 80, we go medium, and if it's between 81 and 100, we go high. Therefore, we get 20% chance at a bad class, 20% chance at a really good class, and a 60% chance that it is a normal class. So I think that's an amazing idea. It makes it much more realistic as opposed to always having medium, which gives you always have your 83 overall, medium elite first overall. Sometimes he's franchised once every 10 seasons or something. We can actually say, okay, some years are really strong, some years are really weak, and we'll randomly generate that every season since we can go in and control this in the settings within the franchise mode. I'm going to keep it medium for the first season since there aren't many generated prospects at all since the junior leagues are filled with real players. Not going to touch any of that. If we go down here to the other settings, auto staff management, we just want to keep it pro scouts only for auto. Waivers, trade difficulty to hard, salary cap on, draft pick ownership is authentic, difficulty to superstar, and everything else is good to go. So the settings are ready. We're in the Eastern Conference Metropolitan Division. Cleveland Monsters are AHL affiliate, hopping into the 20th year of this franchise's history, going back in time a little bit before Tortorella got fired. Obviously, like I said, the rosters are from May 2021, so no Pierre-Luc Dubois, there's no David Savard, but we do have, and no Nick Foligno, but we do have Patrick Laine, for example, and some more draft picks. So let's start up the career, let's see what this team is looking like, and let's figure out how we're going to be rolling moving into our first season at the helm. Alrighty, so here we are at the beginning of the preseason. Now, what I need to quickly show you, I can't go through every single team, but what I did do was go through about 10 hours of roster editing. So thank you everyone who came and helped out over on Twitch. And that included going through the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I can't go through every single team, but I can showcase the big changes that I did make. For example, let's say over on the Boston Bruins, I changed Brad Marchand from a two-way forward to a playmaker, stuff like that to kind of help with the chemistry a little bit and be more reflective of how players actually, how their playing style, their potential, their overall actually reflect in the real world. Another example, over on the Montreal Canadiens, I turned Jeff Petrie from a defensive defenseman into a two-way D. Things I just found didn't make sense. Jonathan Drouin from medium elite to medium top 6, so on and so forth. Another big change that I made was over on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I had to really play with the contracts, and even now, they're not perfect. For example, Nikita Kucherov should be getting paid $9.5 million. He's at $9.32 because the computer had to adjust. McDonough and Point, I believe, are both at $6.75. It got adjusted to $6.6. That is with me going in and making every single expiring contract on the team move down to $0.7 million, the absolute least that it could be. Palat was signed for 2 years at 5.3. I had to move it into a 1 year 0.7 to kind of say, yeah, I'm going to take one player and really change his cap as opposed to the entire team is getting like $2 million off. So I'd rather have Andre Palat making a league minimum for 1 season as opposed to 5.3 for 2, instead of saying, oh, Kucherov's making $8 million, Stamkos is making $7 million, Hedman's making $6 million, and so on and so forth, and the Lightning really are getting a break. They're getting a break for year number 1 here, as they did in the real world, but it's hard to fix a team that's $18 million over the cap. So I had to change Savard, I had to change Coleman, all that stuff, Ruda, but I did not change any of the big contracts. Kalorin, Cirelli, Sergachev, all these guys, I did not touch those. Neither did I touch Vasilevsky, who's usually making 9.5, now he's making 9.32. So it was as accurate as I could make it according to what I'm able to do. Same with the Maple Leafs. It was a bit easier. All I had to do was change Hyman and Bogosian and Foligno and Riley Nash to make league minimum since they're on expiring deals. But I digress. Just to say, those are some of the changes that I made to kind of just offset the cap change by the AI. So with all that figured out, let's get into what we're dealing with on our team. After that, we'll get into some of the created players and talk about the other cool things going on in this franchise mode. But first things first, let's head into the lines actually and see what we're looking like. This team is in a lot of trouble right now, especially after just trading away some big names like Foligno, and with guys like Seth Jones who are possibly out the door. This is a brutal lineup. So first off, we got Gustav Nyquist. He was injured all of this past season. Downgraded him from an 84 to an 83. Still a sniper with good speed, good hands, and good shooting. So hopefully he can be a good top 6 player for us. Max Domi still has medium top 6 potential, but he's down to an 83 overall after a tough season. Also some injuries going on for him. He's pretty much our best centerman. We have like no centerman on this team. So that puts him at first line center right now. Patrick Laine, who's going to need to be a huge piece of this franchise. I don't think we can keep this coach because, yeah, terrible line fit, so we definitely have to change our coach. 5-star shooting for him. He's a sniper, 4.5-star puck skills, great offensive awareness, low on the defense, but we can work with that. By far our best player. Second line, Oliver Bjorkstrand. He was the leading scorer for the Blue Jackets this season. He's an 85 overall sniper. I find him to always be a very odd player in NHL as he often gets many more assists than goals. I'm talking like an 11-goal, 46-assist season or something. So let's hope that we can get the chemistry going right with him and make him a real goal scorer. And possibly the MVP of this past season for the Blue Jackets out of nowhere was Jack Roslovic, who came kind of like a throw-in in the Laine Dubois deal. He has medium top 6 potential, 82 overall two-way forward. He's a really good player, 88 offensive awareness. He should be great for us. Then there's Cam Atkinson, upgraded him from an 83 to an 84. Great sniper, had a 40-goal year a few seasons back. He should hopefully get going with the right chemistry as well, former 6th-round pick. On the third line, here's a good prospect for us. It is Alexandre Texier. He is from France, so I'm definitely going to be using that accent a lot. He is a playmaker with 87 passing, 86 offensive awareness, 3.5-star shooting, 4-star skating, all that good stuff, medium top 6 potential. Really looking forward to good growth from Alex Texier. Boone Jenner, changed him from a two-way forward to a power forward. He throws around the body like it's nobody's business. 87 on the faceoffs, our best centerman when it comes to that regard. Can definitely still score as well, so a good middle 6 guy for us. Kevin Stenlund, medium top 9, 79 overall two-way forward. Here are his stats. Then on the fourth line, we get down to Emil Bemstrom, a former 4th-round pick, sniper, center, right winger, medium top 9. Mikhail Grigorenko back in the NHL, medium top 9, 79 overall. He is a center sniper. And we have Eric Robinson, two-way forward, medium top 9, 25 years of age, 79 overall, rounding out the 12 forwards that we have right now in the NHL. Over on defense now, it is Zach Werenski and Seth Jones on that top pair. Could not get better than that. One of the best top defensive pairings in the NHL, in my opinion. Werenski is 87 overall medium elite at 23 years of age, and Seth Jones is exactly the same, but at 25 years of age. So, Seth Jones on his way out. He is not happy right now with the Blue Jackets organization. He is not going to be re-signing. Maybe something happens where he comes back after free agency opens, but he's definitely testing the waters. With GM data in command, making the changes that he wants to see made. Seth Jones, that is. Maybe that'll make him want to stick around. Regardless, it is 2 more years at $5.4 million. Things start to drop off after that on the second and third defensive pairings. We got Vladislav Gavrikov. He is a 6th-round pick, defensive defenseman, solid defensive defenseman at that. Solid 3.5-star defense for an 80 overall. He has medium top 6 potential. Then you got Dean Kukan. He is a two-way D. Nothing really special, crazy, I guess, in particular, I want to say, aside from being relatively strong and having some good passing ability, but nothing too crazy. Third pair, Michael Del Zotto. I'm a huge Michael Del Zotto fan. Two-way D, good defense from him. I think he'll be a third pair guy or like a 7th D guy for a long time for us. And then Mikko Letnin, undrafted two-way D, and he has medium top 60 potential. Moving to the goaltending now, a strong area as well for the Blue Jackets. It is Jonas Korpisalo and Elvis Merzlikins. Both 84 overall, but Elvis has the medium starter potential, while Korpisalo has the low starter potential, and they are the same age, same height. Korpisalo is 7 pounds heavier, but they're the same overall. Most of their numbers are probably pretty similar. But yeah, do we need to have 2 84 overall goalies? Maybe not. Maybe one of them moves out. Elvis has been notorious as being a thorn in our sides for many franchise modes on this channel, in this channel's history. Sometimes with us, sometimes against us. But he is on this team whether we like it or not. Scratches, we have Gabriel Carlson, 6'5" defensive defenseman. I would love to get this guy in the lineup. He is 78 overall with medium top 4 D potential, so I think getting him in there makes a lot of sense. Also scratched, there's Cole Sherwood, brother of Kiefer Sherwood, and one of our better prospects, Liam Foodie, 20-year-old, 77 overall, medium top 6 centerman. Changed him from a two-way forward to a playmaker, which I think better reflected his style of play. He was the 18th overall pick in 2018. That is the NHL. Other players that we have in our system, no one super crazy, some older guys. There is Cliff Pooh here, who is famous for being in that Jeff Skinner deal back in the day with the Hurricanes and the Sabres. He's 70 overall, 22 years of age with medium top 9 potential. He is a sniper. Aside from that, there's not a lot of youth on this team. Stefan Matteau, former first-round pick of the New Jersey Devils. Justin Scott, not John Scott. Some younger guys, yeah, but not really crazy potential here. Low top 9 for Fix Wolanski, a great name. Ryan McInnes, medium top 9. Brandon Dubinsky here, of course, on long-term IR. And then there's Brett Galin, grinder. Defense, Scott Harrington, serviceable for the NHL, defensive defenseman. Adam Clendenning, also very serviceable. Andrew Peake, or Peaky, low top 4D. That is not bad. One of the better prospects in our system, actually, at 22 years of age. Then we got a few other names filling out the bottom pairings. Yeah, nothing crazy. Goaltending now. Matis Kivlenieks, starting goaltender, 76 overall, medium backup potential. The king of Latvia, just an absolute tragedy that had him pass away a few days ago. I was just, you know, when I saw that the Blue Jackets were leading the poll, I was really happy to say, let's try and get this guy a Stanley Cup in his honor. So really happy to have him in this team, on this team, and in this franchise. Scratched in Cleveland, a bunch of names that are scratched. I don't think anyone with really big potential. I don't think so. I'm not recognizing any of these names really. So yeah, it would be great to get it done for Matis, and we got to get some better prospects on this team though overall. Definitely going to need a new coach as well with this chemistry. If I go best lines, would it fix it at all? A little bit, but yeah, we still need to fix this coach. Line A, first line sniper for sure. It wouldn't be bad if we can get a real first line center playmaker maybe. Get a better power forward winger. This team needs a bit of reshaping and refurbishing. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. Now, before we move forward, I want to show you some of the created players that are in this franchise mode. So first things first, I want to introduce you to the created players who are not real players. These players were created by the top 5 finishers in the Data 782 Fantasy Hockey League that we ran this season. Here are the standings on your screen right here. First place went to Kyle Wood himself. Second place to Hyman's Angels. Third place to the Androids, yours truly. Fourth to Grittizen Kane. Fifth to New England Spartans. And I even extended it to 6th for the Austin 316 Matthews, as I wanted to get 5 created players from viewers as well as one of my own, since I finished within the top 5. What the arrangement was that whoever finished in first would get an 83 overall medium franchise player, second would be 82 overall high elite, third would be 82 overall medium elite, fourth would be 81 overall high top 6 forward, high top 4D, high starter. Fifth would be 81 overall medium top 6, medium top 4, medium starter, and then sixth would be 80 overall medium top 6, medium top 4, medium starter. So make sure all these players went to free agency. They all have the same birthday. It's January 1st, the year 2000, so they're all 20 years old at the beginning of this franchise mode series. They all have their respective potentials, and they will all be in the free agency class, ready to be signed as soon as the franchise mode begins. So, starting with 6th place, Michael Snipes Top Cheese. His created player was Michael Oliver, an 80 overall, medium top 6 grinder. And check out some of these crazy attributes. A grinder with all 5-star physical, but 36 on the fighting skill. Then you got 5-star shooting, 99s everywhere. Yet at the same time, the puck skills are in the pits at 36 deking, 36 passing, and 36 puck control. Yet, 99 hand-eye. A pretty solid skater and great defensively. So to sum it all up, this is a guy who hits, shoots, and defends. And he also has 99 discipline at the same time and doesn't like to fight. He's a gentle giant, it seems to be. So we'll see how Michael Oliver's career goes. We'll be checking in on them periodically. We'll have them watch listed. Very much looking forward to seeing how they simulate. 5th, we go to Addie Jane. Addie decided to create a center playmaker named Ralph Recker. Of course, we all get that reference, I hope. Wreck-It Ralph. Medium top 6 forward, 81 overall, playmaker. Solid defensively with the 82 faceoffs. Not crazy defensively, just he can take the faceoffs. Good shooter, very strong physically, good 85 offensive awareness, 89 passing, a solid passer. So a very well-rounded player who excels when it comes to the passing and physicality of the game of hockey. So 6'4", 200 pounds, Ralph Recker is going to be a force in the NHL. All these players have 85 poise as well. They didn't want to touch any of that poise stuff. I didn't want them to have different poises in the playoffs to give advantages over one over the other, anything like that. So I just kept it uniform. Moving to who finished in 4th place, that was Aiden. And with his created player, he created someone who is, it's only his first time he's not in the game. It's Drew McIntyre. So here are some of his career stats. In the game, we're going to have him as high starter, 81 overall, 20 years of age. Butterfly goalie, excels when it comes to rebound control and vision, but just a solid goaltender, 4 stars across the board. He was in every NHL up until, was it this one or NHL 20 that he's no longer in? So Aiden always loved playing with Drew McIntyre, and now we have him back as his created player, as he never left. Then we come to 3rd place. That's me. And with my created player, you know me here on the channel, Data, Lieutenant Commander Data, Star Trek Next Generation. I decided to create Worf Rozhenko. So if you know anything about Next Gen or Deep Space Nine, you have Lieutenant and later Lieutenant Commander Worf, medium elite, 82 overall. It just goes by Worf, son of Moog, but in his Earth adopted family on Earth was the Rozhenko family from Belarus. So that is the name that I gave him. He is a defensive defenseman. He is amazing physically, very strong defensively with 92 shot blocking. He has a crazy hard shot, not the most accurate, but very hard shot. Not great offensive awareness, not great discipline necessarily, not very good puck skills or skating, but he is going to be a great defensive defenseman, already 82 overall. The physicality is there, the fighting is there, and I don't think I did too bad either when it comes to how I had to make this player look. Most of them have little traits that you'll see as the franchise mode goes on when it comes to physical appearances, but I thought I did pretty well here for Worf. It's not easy to create a Klingon in NHL 21 here, but I did my best. Going to 2nd place now, that was Pat, and with that created player, he created Coconut Hobbs, an ode to Corey Coconut and Hobbsy, 2 of the most prominent people in our Discord server. Coconut Hobbs is a 6'9", 290-pound goaltender with high elite potential, 82 overall. And look at these numbers: 95 rebound control, 95 recovery, 93s on speed, agility. 5 holes definitely going to be down there at 72, poke check 77, but this guy could just be a pure monster. Butterfly goalie, that height as well, coupled with those puck control and athletic skills, this could be just nothing but a brick wall. So looking forward to seeing how Coconut Hobbs does. Keeping on the theme of goaltenders, moving to the created player of the man who finished in 1st place in the Fantasy League with a team name of Kyle Wood. He decides to create Mikey LaForge, keeping with the Star Trek theme here. 6'2", 200 pounds, 20 years of age, of course, like we said. Medium franchise, 83 overall. A very well-rounded goaltender with 90 vision. Of course, LaForges have to have good vision. But everything else, I don't think there's anything lower than 83 or higher than 86. No, everything is very well-rounded. That's what Mikey wanted, and that's what he got. So with that medium franchise potential as well, could he grow better than Coconut Hobbs, even though he doesn't have the height? That's a good question. We'll have to see. So all the height specifications, the weight I did as well as anybody wanted. Worf, for example, I followed Michael Dorn, who is 6'3", 200 in the real world. And now we can just quickly look at the other created players, the ones who are prospects who are not in the game. Alex Newhook to the Colorado Avalanche, 76 overall, medium elite. Cam York, 74 overall, 2AD to the Flyers. Dylan Holloway, 73 overall, power forward to the Oilers. Jake Sanderson, 77 overall, 2AD to the Senators. Matthew Boldy, 74 overall, sniper to the Minnesota Wild. Rodion Amirov, 73 overall, 2-way forward to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And last, Yaroslav Askarov, 72 overall, hybrid goaltender to the Nashville Predators. High elite potential for him. I just wanted to choose the biggest players in the game. I didn't want to create every single guy. It was nice that guys like Spencer Knight and Cole Caulfield are in the game now. Didn't have to recreate them. But there are all of the created players in this franchise mode. Oh wait, who are we forgetting about? It's Kyle Wood. Kyle Wood, no longer in the game as he signed in the 2nd division of Germany, but I want to make sure that he was in the franchise mode. I gave him all his normal stats. He's 77 overall, medium top 4D, nothing special, but he is 6'7", as always. I think he's a little heavier than usual at 247, but I'm not sure. I think that was his usual weight. I think all the stats are what you would usually find in NHL 20. 5-star physical, rocket of a shot, and solid 88 shot blocking. I may have increased a few things here and there, but he is 77 overall nonetheless, and I would love to get Kyle Wood in this franchise mode. If you followed along in the NHL 20 series, especially with the Honolulu Huskies, then you would know how much of a legend this man is. Heartbroken he's not in the game anymore, but hopefully he will come back someday soon. So all that is now done, and when we go and look in free agency, Dustin Byfuglien, by the way, I downgraded him from an 87 to an 82. And we sort by potential. We see Worf, Oliver, Wrecker are all here, and then Kyle Wood, of course, are all here in free agency. And if we go look at the goaltenders as well, we have LaForge, Hobbs, and McIntyre. So I don't think I want to sign any of these guys. I'd like to keep it, I want to keep the creative players out of our franchise right away. Don't want to cheese it. I wouldn't be opposed at all to getting them later on down the road, but there's no teams interested. It's an entry-level deal. It would just be a bit too easy right now to go and do that. The player that I do want to think about getting, and actually I'm not going to ask for suggestions on this, Kyle Wood absolutely has to come to this franchise. Make sure that's a maximum contract for 3 years. He may be absolutely nothing special, medium top 4D at 77 overall, but we need Kyle Wood on this team. Aside from that, there are some other good options here in free agency. We could think about Dargachintsev, who is a Leafs prospect, of course. He is medium top 6, despite being 64 overall. We can think about Schlappick, even Kuffner. There are some good options down here. I don't know if we want to think about Dustin Byfuglien, if that would be unrealistic, but just to say, very nice options, even in free agency. A couple guys here on the first day of the simulation. But let's continue thinking about what we have to our name here on the Columbus Blue Jackets. What kind of prospects do we have? Unsigned prospects, junior prospects. Look at the rookie skaters. Not a lot. We got this guy, Jorth, who's medium top 6D, a 4th round pick, 2-way D, so yikes. Yeah, and then pretty much nothing. What about our draft pick situation? Let's see here. Okay, we got the first from the Lightning in the Savard trade. We got the first from the Maple Leafs in the Foligno trade, plus our own first-round pick. So 3 firsts here in 2021. Do we want to be competitive now and think about trading a couple of these and keeping our own? Because those are going to be high picks, as in, well, low picks, as in the late 20s and 30s there. And it's not a strong draft class either, so I wouldn't be opposed to trading some of those. 3rd, 4th, 2 5ths, a 6th, and a 7th. And then after that, we have a couple 3rd and a 4th there in next year's draft, Anaheim. And then it's just us from then on out. Not going to be making any major moves right now. We definitely do need to think about getting a better coach, because that coach is not, veterans coach. He's not good for us, unfortunately. René Pouliot, as you might want to call him, 44% team fit. Yikes, that's not going to fly at all. Then there's Riesner, Sawyer Riesner, Frederick Haynes, and Keegan LaRose. So, as always, you want to make sure that your AHL coach and your NHL coach have the same schemes. This guy's getting paid $5.4 million. So I wouldn't be opposed. He does have the good teaching and coach influence and all that. So just make him the associate coach. I'd have to hire a better head coach, though, when it comes to the team fit. And there probably, there's never a lot of options on day one. And as well, this is looking at team fit right now, which may not be our team fit going forward. 55, 70 for Rodrigo Grantham. Woo, loves Domi, Nyquist, Gavrikov, Delzato. 70% team fit. 65 for Prust, 64 for De Silva, 64 for Hannon, 68 for Cunning. Ooh, Jones and Orensky getting a lot of love there too. Kozevnikov, shout out to Sergei Kozevnikov, the goaltender. 65% for him. So keep all that in mind. Who should be our head coach? It'll be a B- guy, whether it's him or whether it's one of our assistant or our associate coaches. But let me just fire this AHL goalie coach, Marc Ouellet. Excusez-moi. I'm going to demote LaRose here to AHL goalie coach for a moment. Demote him there. Demote Pouliot to assistant coach. Let me just see Riesner as interim head coach. How does that look for the team fit? That gives it 62%. Not bad. Good for the top guys. And if we try Haynes in there as a generalist, it's a 65% team fit. Interesting. He's B- as well. These are his attributes. Good on the penalty kill and power play. So that's very tempting. Sawyer, good on the penalty kill, not as good on the power play. Very interesting. So I'll put him there. Pouliot can be the associate coach. I'll keep Haynes as the interim head coach for just a moment while we work on this. And LaRose back to goalie coach. 86% staff chemistry. Hey, it went up. And we go to edit lines. Now it's at +1, +1, 0, 0 with 1, 1, 1 right there. Okay. So, needless to say, we got to make some changes here on this team. Robinson would probably get moved out there. +3 on the second line. Okay. But, yeah, Atkinson has to be in the top 6. Probably looks something more like, I don't know, like this. Laine can play left wing. I don't know. Just spitballing here. We have, you know, our top 4 wingers are all snipers, which does not help chemistry that much, but if we found the right coach, it would be worth it. And then our top 2 defensemen are both two-way D, which is not ideal either. As I said about the scouts, I'm going to run through all of these, fire all the AHL scouts, fire the guys that just have ratings that are too low, keep only a certain amount of pro scouts, etc. I'm going to put a link in the description for my tutorial on how to maximize your scouting if you're new to NHL 21, because that's the process I'm about to do right here. I don't need to show that to you now, but if you're curious about what that process is, then just follow that link. So I don't really have that much more to say on all of this, because now it comes down to all of you. I have my ideas on who I'd like to trade out, who I'd like to keep, what I like to do, but I'd like to check out the trade blocks and hear back from all of you. In this 20th season, the Blue Jackets have hired GM Data and his assistant GMs to figure something out sooner rather than later. So I don't want to just simulate this season and chalk it up to a lost year. Let's sort by trade value and go to skaters matching the block and just quickly see if anyone is of interest to us. Looking at years left as well. Jarmelson, Demers, Goligoski, all on expiring deals. Trent Frederick, Zach Senyshyn, JFK here on the block for his back of Carlson. We know how good he simulates from 2BC's series. Some prospects on the Hurricanes. Blackhawks have Kurashev, Sorella, Stillman, Peary. Newhook on the block for the Avalanche. That's pretty crazy. Alex Newhook, created player, like I said. Medium elite playmaker, 19 years of age. Kaut is also here. I changed him to a playmaker from a two-way forward, for example. Barron, Timmins, Bauer. So a lot of prospects on the block in Colorado. Dallas has Thomas Harley, Stranges, Erickson all on the block. Red Wings, Sam Gagner. Oilers, Evan Bouchard and Dylan Holloway. Broberg, Lavoie, McLeod. Oof, all good prospects. Keep all that in mind. Evan Bouchard, offensive defenseman, by the way. Keep all that in mind. Florida has Lundell, Noel, Serdif, Hepanyemi, Noah Juleson, etc. No one for the Kings. Minnesota, Spurgeon with that crazy contract a little bit. Ryan Suter, Ian Cole, Brad Hunt. We just saw some great success with the Minnesota Wild. The Canadien Montreal, Alex Romanov's on the block. What? High top 4D, 78 overall, 20 years of age. Oh, goodness. Cale Fleury, Caden Gooley, Josh Brook, Ryan Paling, Joel Teasdale. Predators, Ryan Ellis, Matthias Ekholm. 2 big defenders right there. Yarncrow, Spiza, Borowicki. PK Subban on the block for the Devils. Islanders have Leddy, Nelson, Bailey, Eberle, Palmieri. It's always a fire sale for the Islanders. Anders Lee, Sazika, Zajac, blah, all the way down there. So maybe we could take advantage of someone over here on the Islanders, but more snipers would be tough. Maybe Brock Nelson. He's a power forward center, but it would be difficult to get an 84 overall. I don't know if I want trade value, send out trade value just for an 84 overall first-line center, because he wouldn't be our first-line center really long term, I don't feel like. A lot of difficult things to consider. Flyers, no one crazy. No one on the Penguins, really. Logan Couture, Brent Burns, Evander Kane, Mark-Edward Vlasic, and Marcus Sorensen all on the block for the Sharks. All difficult contracts, I guess you could say. Logan Couture had great success with him in the Ottawa Senators franchise mode. But yeah, these would be tough contracts to swallow. No one big on the Blues. Lightning have Radish, Moran, Kachuk on their blocks. Toronto Maple Leafs have Liljegren on the block, as well as Nick Robertson, Amirov, Hollander. Interesting. Timothy Liljegren would really be interesting. Medium elite, 77 overall. Robertson as well. Nick Robertson, 75 overall sniper. We upgraded him a little bit. High top 6 forward. So, Vancouver Canucks, Sven Barchi, Vegas Golden Knights, Peyton Krebs, and a couple other prospects. Washington, Alexiev, Johansson. Winnipeg, Cole Perfetti. What's everybody wanting to trade their prospects? Perfetti, Vesalainen, Heinola, Stanley. Sheesh. Okay, so I don't want to make anything crazy unrealistic. I don't want to trade for a team's top prospect. I don't think getting Romanov would make sense, for example. But there are some very interesting ideas there on the trade blocks. Free agency is out there, like we said. Looking at our contract situation just for ourselves, we have $14 million of cap space, so we can definitely make something happen. We can think about extending Laine and Texier sooner rather than later as well. Laine, we could get him signed up. We keep him as an RFA for 3 years or go longer term. It would get pretty expensive the longer we go. Alex Texier is wanting $4.2 million. Yeah, that's not happening just yet. And goaltending, sorry, looking at goalies, no one expiring there. So I think it would make sense to maybe think about sending out a goaltender. We'd have to take in a real backup as opposed to having 2 starters. I don't want to even simulate any of the preseason because we still need to figure out the coach. I need to fire half the scouts and hire some new scouts. All the stuff that I do off screen and all that jazz. Looking at the record book as well. That'll be fun to look at here. What kind of records are we going to think about breaking here on the Columbus Blue Jackets? I'm sure all of them are held by Rick Nash. Points, assists, games played, and goals. All records held by Rick Nash. Cam Atkinson closing in on some of those. Rostislav Klesla with the most seasons played at 10. What a legend. Jared Bull with most penalty minutes. Bobrovsky at shutouts and wins. Those are all franchise records. Season records will probably be a bit different. Yeah, Jack Johnson, Steve Mason, Jody Shelley out there, Panarin, Bobrovsky. Rookie records, Werenski with 36 assists, Dubois 48 points, etc. And games, some records going back to Espen Knutson back in 2001. Shout out to him and Jeff Sanderson with 4 goals in 2003. And that makes us just about ready to wrap up episode 1 here at the Columbus Blue Jackets. A little introductory episode. How are we going to get this team turned around and turned into a cup contender ASAP? Maximize Laine, maximize Werenski and Jones, Bjorkstrand, let's get Foodie growing, Texier growing, let's try and wake up Max Domi. Jenner would be a big help to keep around. Atkinson and Nyquist, they have such low trade value, but they can score. So we don't have a lot of trade value to send out aside from those 2 or 3 first-round picks. The goalies don't have a ton of value either, but here they are with their respective potentials. And I'm ready to make it happen here. Let's think about some power forwards maybe. Let's try and get chemistry going. So if you have any thoughts, anything you want to hear more about, leave a comment here on YouTube. I'll check it out. I'll send you the information if you want to know, oh, what's this guy's trade value or how does this guy look if we send out a pro scout or something. Just leave a comment here or over on the Discord server. The link for that is down in the description. And I will get you a picture. I'll get you the information and all that good stuff. And if you need a little inspiration about some of the forwards you might be thinking about going after, thinking about like a top 6 kind of guy, just randomly looking at all forwards between 85 and 89 overall. There's a bunch of them, 68 of them. So just to quickly run through it, according to trade value, see here's their overall years left on their contracts and salary as well. Just scroll through these quickly in case you needed a refresher on some of the names and trade values here in NHL 21 land. We also want to think about what's realistic as well. We don't always, doesn't have to be live and die by pure realism, but we do want to try and stick to it as well as possible. Guys that would never get traded for just a first-round pick are not going to be guys that we really want to target. But just to say, here are all of the players between 85 and 89 overall. But like I said, if you want to know more, like, oh, send me a picture of all the 84 overall players with minimum 88 offensive awareness or something, I can do that too. So let me know your thoughts. I am looking forward to this series so very much. We have never had more people on board for a series than we do now. We just passed 3,000 subscribers yesterday. We're already at 3,020 at the time that I'm recording this. So I am ecstatic to have you all on board. If you are new to these series, it is all about the feedback, and I cannot wait to hear what all of you have to say about this team. The more I think about it, using a pick would probably make the most sense. Let's think about a really good first-line center. Maybe Domi moves to the second line. Boone Jenner moves to the third line. Roslovic can go here. Texier can go here. And then Robinson can replace somebody down here, and then Bemstrom can be a healthy scratch, and we get a new first-line centerman. Something like that, I think it would be fantastic. And then the defense has to be fixed as well. But like I said, all up to you. Let me know what you think about these created players. Who's your favorite created player? Who do you think is going to have the best career? I can't wait to follow those. Looking forward to having Kyle Wood back on the team. I'm like Christopher Nolan and Michael Caine here. I can't do anything artistic without him by my side. So, hey, Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you are brand new to the channel, consider subscribing. There's a lot going on here, including the NHL 07 Dynasty mode. Lots of streams over on Twitch, where we just got Twitch affiliate not too long ago, so the link for that is also down in the description. If you're looking forward to this series, drop a like and leave a comment, even if there's no suggestions. Just tell me what you are looking forward to in this series. We're moving into the Blue Jackets' 20th year in the NHL. Nothing but 5 first-round exits and 1 second-round berth to show for it. Let's turn this franchise around, turn it into a dynasty, and make it happen for the city of Columbus. So thank you again so much for taking the time to watch, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.